Welcome to the Holistic Health Bites podcast. I'm your host, Andrea Nicholson, crime scene investigator turned functional health investigator. This podcast is here to share bite-sized episodes and unique interviews on a wide variety of health topics to empower, enlighten, and educate you to live your best, most vibrant life. Disclaimer: all information you hear on this podcast is for information only and constitutes individual opinions of the person speaking. This should not be taken as medical advice. Being a listener of this show does not initiate a practitioner-client relationship between you and the hosts or panelists on this show. Please discuss these topics with your medical professionals before making any changes to your health. Okay, let's dive in. Most of us have heard of fatty liver being associated with alcoholism or consumption of large quantities of alcohol. But this isn't the only cause of fatty liver. The vast majority of fatty liver cases today are not related to alcohol consumption, but rather due to metabolic changes in the liver and really throughout the body. This is referred to as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, or sometimes now being called metabolic associated fatty liver disease using the acronyms NAFLD or MAFLD. For simplicity, we're going to use NAFLD throughout the rest of this episode, as this is the more often used term as of today. NAFLD is the accumulation of fatty triglyceride globules in the liver cells. This can be medically visualized using biopsy or radiologic imaging of the liver. In later stages, this can develop into inflammatory liver disease, non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, or NASH, and even permanent liver damage via fibrosis. A healthy liver does not normally store lipids, so any form of fatty liver is pathogenic. The liver is the primary producer of lipids, such as cholesterol, triglycerides, and phospholipids, by a process called de novo lipogenesis, or creation of new fat. This process is influenced by insulin. There is no limit to how much lipid can be produced by the liver. This is entirely driven by the frequency and quantity of food coming in. Because this is influenced by insulin, the majority of lipid produced comes from carbohydrate consumption, which stimulates insulin the most. Studies show that the liver doesn't seem to release triglycerides or fatty acids directly into the blood, but can then package them into VLDL molecules for transport to other parts of the body. VLDL production is also insulin mediated. When lipid production from de novo lipogenesis exceeds VLDL transport capacity, the fat remains in the liver. In cases of NAFLD, blood glucose is elevated, which continues to stimulate de novo lipogenesis. Decreasing carbohydrate intake decreases the rate of lipogenesis and blood glucose and causes the body to use fatty acids for fuel instead of glucose. All combined, this reduces insulin resistance, fat accumulation, and blood sugar levels. The great news is fatty liver can be remedied and rather quickly. Clinical studies have shown that when therapeutic carbohydrate restriction is followed, reducing carbs to less than 10% of daily calories, and in reducing eating frequency to no more than 2 meals per day with no snacks, this has shown observed remission of fatty liver within 3 to 7 days. This remission can also happen in alcoholic fatty liver disease with a complete abstinence from alcohol. The liver is one of the most amazing regenerative tissues. Now, obesity is often blamed for fatty liver disease, but obesity is not a cause of fatty liver disease, but likely fatty liver leads to obesity. You don't have to be obese to have a fatty liver. Insulin resistance is the original foundation that leads to fatty liver. Insulin resistance develops due to chronically high blood sugars due to high consumption of carbohydrates and frequent eating, causing frequent and large insulin releases. If you've been told that you have prediabetes, type 2 diabetes, obesity, insulin resistance, or fatty liver, there is hope to reverse it. Schedule a free call with me to go over your personal roadmap to healing. Until the next, be well and vibrant. Did you know I also work one-on-one with clients? I approach solving health challenges like I approached solving crimes, by conducting a thorough investigation into your case. Sadly, hundreds of millions of people in the US have insulin resistance, prediabetes, and diabetes, and the vast majority have no idea. I'm here to fix that. If you struggle with low energy, stubborn weight, hypertension, sleep disturbances, or any other undesired symptoms, let's talk. All you have to do is schedule a free call. The link will be in the show notes. And no, you do not need to live near me.